Marvel, we need to talk. Not your movie division, not your game division, not your whatever other divisions. No, this is your comic book division. We need to have a talk. And you may ask yourself why we need to talk. Why I am basically making this digital letter to you. Your comic book division has done so much damage to your brand, to the way that people perceive you, the way that we look at you as an audience. You are an entertainment juggernaut. Or at least you were. That is not the case right now. You have done so many vile things to this community, to this audience of yours, that if you do not listen to us, listen to the consumers, the retailers who have consistently tried to talk to you, but you refuse to listen. If you do not listen to us and take our feedback, your comic book division will fall. There will be no Marvel Comics. Probably forever. I know that I've ranted and I've raved multiple times. I've been angry before. But this is important. To not just me, but to many, many other people who love your comic book division. Or used to love your comic book division. I'm going to go over a few points and hope that this letter reaches you, in a sense. I will send it myself, and then I will probably send it in other means and ways, if I can. The first thing, which I think is the most important thing that you need to do right now, is you need to hire some good PR. Because right now, the thing that has done the most damage to you as a comic book company is your editor-in-chief, your assistant editors, your writers, your artists. Because a large majority of them are literally smearing your legacy right in the dirt. And I'm not talking about Marvel Legacy. That's a whole other can of fish. I'm talking about just the way that people perceive you. They say toxic things to the fan community all the time. You need to set rules and guidelines. You need someone with good PR or with good skills and comprehension of understanding of how a business runs to tell your writers, your artists, your editors to not attack the fan base over small, minute things or just over general criticism of your books. This is probably by far the most important thing right now that you need, is somebody to come in and clean shop. You need to fix this. If you do not fix this in the next couple months, you will fall. I will be surprised if you survive it, if at all. Your movie division will probably survive, and your other divisions will probably be okay because you're owned by Disney. But your comic book division, it won't survive. It will burn out, and you will lose. You've already lost. You have lost 47% of your audience since the late 90s. About, I think, was 1998 or 1997. You've lost 47% of them. Now, in the early 2000s, I thought that you guys did a good job. You were a pretty solid company. I didn't hate you. I didn't despise you. There were decisions you made that I didn't like. One More Day being one of them. But I was okay with it. I lived through it. Bad comic books are a dime a dozen. Anybody can write a bad comic book or have a bad comic series. It's another thing when it's consistently happening all the time. The only comic book currently that you have that I would even consider remotely popular would be your Spider-Man title, Amazing Spider-Man. But the only reason why that one sells is because Spider-Man is on the title. His name recognition alone is enough to get readership. And I'm not counting Secret Empire because events are another can of fish. And I don't feel like discussing all the other problems you have because that would be a waste of my time right now because I've talked about them before. You need to listen very carefully to what the audience has to say. You need to take it in. If you do not set ground rules for employees on Twitter or on social media in general, these consequences that you've been feeling, especially over the last 2 years, are going to continue to rise to the point where you have even less of a readership. This to me feels like the most glaring problem you have. Your developed disdain for your audience that you have cultivated right now is the sole reason why you're failing. You're not listening. And I don't know if you'll listen to this video. But if you do, this is coming from a longtime Marvel fan who has enjoyed your product for many decades. Or at least a good 2 or 3 decades. If this does not change, I won't be coming back. It's just that simple. I won't be coming back. And I'm not the only one who's decided to abandon you. I get comments on my channel on a regular basis. I've talked to friends who say they don't want anything to do with your company or your books because of what you've done to them. Anyway, I hope you listen to this, Marvel. If you don't, well, I can't say I didn't try. At least I'll know that I did my best to try and point out the flaws and the problems that you have, and in the hopes that this can be resolved. I hope I caught your attention in some way. If not, well, there's nothing more I can do. This for me has nothing to do with solely the politics that your writers talk about. It has nothing to do with that right now. I could give 2 craps less right now about that. This is about salvaging what's left and trying to fix it. Anyway, this is a concerned fan. Signed, Duke Roberts.